Hi everyone, it's Marianne. In today's video, I'm going to share with you plant products that I've tried this year and let you know which ones are worth it for you to try out in 2023. Thank you so much for joining me today. And throughout the year, I have tried many different plant products. Some I purchased myself, some were sent to me, but I'm definitely going to give you my honest review on each one of those products after using them for a year. So I think I have about 10-ish products that I'm going to share with you, and these are all products that you can use to take care of your houseplants. And if you're interested in any of them, I'll have the links to all of the products as much as I can down in the description, so go check it out if you're interested. But if you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Marianne. Welcome to My Wasteless Life, where I take you along my houseplant and sustainable lifestyle journey and share with you some of my tips and tricks along the way. I also share my personal and travel vlogs here and there, so if that type of content interests you, make sure to subscribe to my channel before the end of this video, and make sure to also like and comment down below. I would love to hear from you. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So first plant product that I tried this year is ADVOCACY. And technically, this is not a plant product. It is a product that makes your water safe for your fish in your fish tanks. And I discovered this through one of my friends on TikTok, and she uses it on her calatheas and prayer plants in general. She says it's what's helped her calatheas and prayer plants not have any brown spots. So when I saw her TikTok, I was like immediately convinced. I got myself a bottle of ADVOCACY. And ADVOCACY is relatively cheap. You can find it in any pet store, you can find it on Amazon, and it's very easy to use. So what I love about ADVOCACY is during my watering days, I only add about a teaspoon to every 5 gallons of water. So right there, it's very economical, even though it comes in a very small bottle, and I could use it to water all of my plants. So it is a better option for me compared to distilled water, or maybe filtered water, or even leaving your water overnight. And I know a lot of us like to leave our tap water overnight to get rid of the chlorine and fluoride in most of our tap waters. But even with doing that, I find myself not having enough tap water to water all of my houseplants. So with using ADVOCACY, it's very quick. It takes seconds to work. I just add a teaspoon to 5 gallons of water as mentioned, and I could use it to water all of my houseplants without waiting for my tap water to sit or buying distilled water, which can get expensive, and also using filtered water, which uses up our filters quite quickly. And I did end up using the entire bottle of ADVOCACY. I don't have it with me now. Some of the products that I'm going to mention, I'm not going to be able to show you physically on my hand because I've used them up and thrown them or recycled them already, but some you will see. And after I finished the bottle of ADVOCACY, I didn't end up repurchasing it. And let me tell you why. So even though I do find the convenience of ADVOCACY really great, I didn't really see much difference in my houseplants overall. Because number one, I wasn't really having a lot of cosmetic issues with my houseplants to begin with. Like I don't really have prayer plants or calatheas or anything like that really requires distilled water or filtered water or anything that is not tap water. So I didn't really see a dramatic difference in my houseplants to keep using ADVOCACY when I'm watering my houseplants. I am fortunate enough that the tap water in my area is around pH 7, so it's not a very hard water. So my houseplants liked it, even though the pH requirement or recommended pH for houseplants is between 5.5 to 6.5. But also when I add some of like the nutrients and solutions that I often add to my houseplants, which I'm going to mention a little bit later, it sometimes already brings down the pH to the desired 5.5 to 6.5. So I really don't need ADVOCACY to kind of make my tap water safe for my houseplants. But if you are a plant parent that's really concerned with the type of water you're giving your houseplants, you think it's too hard for your houseplants, but distilled water is too expensive, leaving water overnight is not enough water for your houseplants, you can't collect rainwater in your area, then I suggest looking into getting ADVOCACY for your houseplants. And second, when it comes to fertilizers, and I've mentioned this in the same type of video last year, is the plant food Dynagrow. So Dynagrow is kind of a 3-in-1 multi-purpose plant food. You could use it to fertilize your regular houseplants. You could use it for nutrients for your plants in semi-hydro, and you could use it to create foliage spray. So for me, I mostly use it as a fertilizer and as nutrients for some of the plants that I have in semi-hydro. It is not a cheap fertilizer, but I don't call it very expensive either. It's just for the size that you're getting, it's kind of like a bit pricey. But it's very convenient, and I'm really all about convenience when it comes to my plant care. And the fact that it's multi-purpose, it is great, so I stand by it. I still use it to this day, and I also keep repurchasing it. The only thing about the Dynagrow is it's not organic. So if that's a huge concern of yours, the Dynagrow is not organic, so just make a note of that. And the small bottle does last me an entire growing season. I think it lasted me just about shy of the growing season, and I started using a new fertilizer, which I'm going to mention next. But overall, I would definitely repurchase it again next year when it's time for me to fertilize my plants again. And next products that I tried this year are from Houseplant Resource Center. And full disclosure, I received all these products from them and did sponsor one of my videos. So they're mostly known for making specialized houseplant products for monsteras and fiddle figs, but in reality, you could really use any of their plant products for any of your tropical houseplants. So the first one they sent me was the Monstera plant food. And after I finished up with the Dynagrow, that's what I used not just on my Monstera houseplants, but to all of my houseplants that are very similar to the Monstera. So I really like that it is organic. It's also very easy to use. It's liquid fertilizer. And I have experience using Houseplant Resource Center products before with my fiddle fig, and I credit that to the success of my fiddle fig. And even with the ones that I've been trying out now, my plants love it. And the next products that I tried from them was the root supplement that I still have, and the houseplant vitamin. The Monstera plant food I've also ran out as well. This too is currently what I use to kind of give nutrients for my plants while they're heading to dormancy. And I really like it, especially now since I'm kind of changing up my watering schedule with them, and I'm really concerned about root rot because I'm always scared of overwatering my plants. And with the houseplant vitamin, I am still giving them some nutrients, if not the full nutrients they get from a regular fertilizer. So with this too, and with the Monstera plant food, if I'm only going to pick one, I'm definitely going to go with the Monstera plant food or any of their houseplant plant food, because they have the perfect NPK ratio for your houseplants, so you're not going to be second guessing how much you should be giving your houseplants. And they're organic. For me, they are really great plant products, but if you kind of like want to invest in a more specialized plant care products, I definitely recommend the root supplement and the houseplant vitamin. I also have their orchid spray. I only have about one orchid, which is the orchid that they sent me to. If you don't have orchids, I probably would skip that, although some people say it's a hack if you want to get your Hoyas to bloom. I've been trying it in my Hoyas. I haven't gotten any of my Hoyas to bloom yet. Maybe you'll have better luck on it. And other products that I tried from them is the soil, which is a very good soil mix. It is very airy, well draining. It is kind of pricey for the amount that you're getting, but for any specialty mix, it's kind of like around the same price. So if you are also, again, picky about the soil that you're using for your houseplants, then I definitely recommend that. But for me, I use whatever, but I was grateful to get that plant soil from them, and it's really good soil. But I don't think it is a must buy. You could use any potting mix, in my opinion, because that's what I do. But again, if you're picky or you want a specialized type of soil for your houseplants, then I do recommend checking out the Houseplant Resource Center soil mix. And I think they have like different ones, so you could pick which one is right for your houseplants. And the last product that I tried out from Houseplant Resource Center, which is probably my favorite, is the Smart Gravel. So it's basically what you put on your pots at the bottom so that it will help with the drainage of your houseplants. So I like that since, again, I'm very paranoid about overwatering. So I usually put that at the bottom to help the drainage of my houseplants, especially if the planter that I'm using doesn't really have great drainage, because I know you have those type of planters, like they're cute but they don't drain really well. So by using the Smart Gravel, it helps, it drains a little bit better. But again, it is a bit pricey. If you want a substitute for that, I'd say just buy a bag of leca. That's what I also used to do. Just use leca, put it at the bottom of my planters before I put any soil or any medium that I'm using to pot up my plants, so that it helps a bit with the drainage of the plant. And the next products that I tried this year are plant poles, and I tried several of them this year to find out which one works best for my houseplants. The first plant pole that I tried this year is this plant pole. It's made out of fiberglass, and I used it as a leca pole for my Monstera stadleiana. What I liked about it, it is a aesthetic pole if you're very concerned about aesthetics, because one thing about plant poles, especially moss poles, is they look ugly, especially if the plant hasn't filled it out yet. So with this one, it's a little bit more aesthetic. It does provide support for my plants such as the Monstera stadleiana. I haven't tried it with any other plants. I've only tried it with my Monstera stadleiana. And the roots do grow into the leca pole. Pole is also practical because it's easy to extend this. That's one thing that I kind of like discovered, not discovered, but really like learned with using plant poles this year is not only it's important for the plant poles to support the plant, they should be also easy to extend, and this one is very easy to extend. So whenever you're ready to extend it, you just like do it like that. It's very easy. I did choose to fill it out with leca instead of sphagnum moss though, because as mentioned, it's made out of fiberglass. It's gonna be very hard to cut into when you are ready to propagate your houseplants. With the leca, it makes it easy for me to kind of like remove the leca and also detach the plant from the leca pole. So just keep that in mind if you're gonna use it for sphagnum moss, because this is advertised to use sphagnum moss in it. I highly do not recommend using sphagnum moss with this one, or even coco coir, because it's going to be very difficult for you to eventually separate the plant from the pole or propagate your house plant. So just keep that in mind. Next one is the bendable moss pole. I was sent these, and at first I did like them, but eventually it's just not practical for me because one, the pole, when you bend it, the sphagnum moss falls out, and I don't really need to bend my poles, to be honest. I just like to keep my poles straight up. But one good thing about this is, if you can see it in my silver lady, here with my silver lady, as you can see, I have this part bent, so I could keep it bent until the plant needs the extension. But speaking of extension, after this, it's going to be very hard for me to extend my plants that are in the bendable moss pole, because there's really no way to add an extension on them. So that's the one thing that's really important to me, or I've realized when it comes to my plant poles. They have to be very easy to extend, or just be able to extend, period. Because when time comes that I have to extend the pole of this houseplant or propagate the houseplant on this bendable moss pole, I have to completely detach it from the moss pole, and it's just going to be a pain. I'm afraid of damaging the houseplant, so I don't really recommend it for plants that really attaches themselves to the moss pole. If you use it maybe for, I guess, your Hoyas, you just need a support for your houseplant, then I'll recommend a bendable moss pole. But otherwise, it's my least favorite moss pole that I've tried this year. Next plant pole that I tried for my houseplants is the coco coir pole. And I know it's basic, it's the one that we see all the time, but it works. Honestly, it works. It's very easy to use. I do think it's kind of look good. It's very easy to extend. My plants do attach to it, like my Syndapsus Silver Hero. And again, it's very easy to extend. Kind of like with the fiberglass leca pole, when time comes for me to add extension of the coco coir pole, I just like insert it up here. It does come with a cap for the meantime if I don't want that hole showing. And it's just very easy to use. It's effective. It doesn't take up a lot of space. So highly do recommend the coco coir pole. I know it is basic. We see them everywhere, but it's for a reason. It works. And my favorite moss pole that I tried this year is the D-shaped moss pole. And I like this one because one, it doesn't use up way too much sphagnum moss, because I've seen a lot of people either DIY or buy those moss poles that really uses up a lot of sphagnum moss. And sphagnum moss is a non-renewable resource, so I try to use as little of it as possible. This one kind of uses half of the sphagnum moss that you would regularly need when making a moss pole, and it also allows the plant to grow into the moss pole. So especially if you have plants like the philodendron that needs to grow their roots into the moss pole, then I highly recommend the D-shaped moss pole. It does the job without using way too much sphagnum moss. It's also lightweight, also very easy to extend. I've already extended my Epipremnum pinnatum. I'll insert a clip here so you can see it. It's very easy to assemble and very easy to water your plants afterwards, and easy to extend as mentioned. So one thing about it is made of plastic, so to prevent it from becoming a single-use plastic, use it multiple times and make sure to take care of it properly so you can get to use it many times and get the most out of it. But so far I'm loving it, and moving forward I think I'm going to be using the D-shaped moss bowl for most of my plants that I'm going to be putting in plant poles. Next plant product that I tried this year is the Germination kit, and I do like it. I'm able to like keep growing basils now that winter is here and I can no longer like grow them outside, and I was also growing thyme, and I haven't really used it to propagate houseplants. I tried once, it didn't really work out, but maybe I haven't given it enough a chance. So if you're looking to get a germination kit, I highly recommend that one. It's easy to use. It has a timer for the water and for the light. The only thing I don't like about it is the timer is like in a 16-hour timer. So sometimes I just turn it on and turn it off manually. The water pump goes like every 30 minutes, and it's quiet enough that it doesn't really bother me. Right now it's in the kitchen on the countertop, and it works pretty well because it has that grow light, and I'm able to have basil and thyme all year round. It is great to have access to fresh herbs, especially this holiday season when I'm doing a lot of cooking, which you might have seen in my shorts videos. And next plant product that I tried this year are this white ceramic planters. So this one comes in a set of 3, and this is the medium-sized one, and it has my ficus tenuki, and the smallest one now has my string of turtles, and the largest one has my syngonium chiapenes there at the back. I'm just going to show you close up because it's going to be hard to bring it to the frame. So I do like this because for the set of 3 it's a pretty reasonable price, and I did receive these planters as a gift, but I do like it as a set of 3 because I do like the design. It is chic. It's not tapered. I don't like tapered planters. I only have them for the terracotta because usually that's what you can get, but for most of my ceramic planters I don't like tapered ones. I have it for my fiddle fig. I think that's the last one that I have in a tapered planter. I was warned against it. I didn't listen. Now it's kind of hard for me to kind of like replant my fiddle fig now that it's so mature, but I do prefer my planters to be not tapered at the bottom, and this is great. And it also comes with a built-in saucer, and also it is actually very well draining, which I like about it. It also comes with that netting so that you don't have to worry about the drainage hole getting blocked. So I really like them. It's working out really good for my tenuki and my syngonium chiapenes, and so far for my string of turtles. And I know you could get like something similar at TJ Maxx or Marshalls or Home Goods like that, but if I get them individually at TJ Maxx or Marshalls, one, they're not going to be like in the same designs. Sometimes if you're lucky you can get them in all the same design, but when you add up the price it's pretty much the same cost as the set of 3, sometimes maybe even more. So I really like this one. It is aesthetic but also very functional and effective for my houseplants. Next plant product that I tried this year are grow lights, and I'm not really into grow lights this year. A lot of grow light companies approach me to promote their grow lights. I pretty much turned down most if not all of them, but there's one grow light that I bought for myself that I got for my plants that are right behind me, and this is a very thin grow light panel that you could stick pretty much under the shelf, in my case under the table or under your cabinets, to give light for your houseplants in places that they're not going to typically get light. And I like it because it provides a full spectrum of light for my houseplants. It has a built-in timer, and you could barely see it because it's very much hidden. So I really like that about this grow lights. I did purchase this myself. I didn't receive it from any grow light company. What I like about it too, it has warm light, because I've tried like different grow lights, the one that has the white daylight, the one that has purple light, and I do think I like the warm light better because you can get them in full spectrum. Because I think in the past I have the impression that, oh, if it's like warmer light, you're not really going to get the full spectrum light for your houseplants. You do, especially with a grow light that's close to your houseplants. I mean, my plants are growing beautifully underneath it. The only thing is, yes, it connects to 2 panels, but it doesn't have a separate control for each of the panels. So if you turn one on, you're turning both on. If you turn off one, you're turning both off. So that's the only thing. And it does have a timer, as mentioned. So it has a 3, 6, and 12-hour timer. I have mine on a 12-hour timer. So it works out pretty great for my houseplants. And I like that it is hidden, because the thing about grow lights is, yes, our plants need them, but they're ugly. Most of them are ugly. So kind of like this year, I'm in a hunt for like more aesthetically pleasing grow lights. In my Amazon storefront, you could actually find a list of aesthetic grow lights. So if you're interested in also looking for grow lights for your houseplants that also look good, you can check out my list in my Amazon storefront and see which one might interest you or might be suitable for your houseplants. For me, I like the ones that are completely hidden, especially when they're turned off. I don't see them at all. They're not in display, they're not taking up space. So that's the grow light that I've been using right now for my houseplants. And I'm gonna mention a couple stuff that I forgot to mention while I was filming the sit down portion of this video. But this mini greenhouse, of course, how could I forget? So once I got rid of my IKEA greenhouse cabinet, I got this one from Michael's. It was on sale for like $20, originally like $75, I believe. And for me, it's well worth it because I have my propagations, my plants that need like a little bit more humidity, like the crystallinum that I might have mentioned I was having issues with, and my El Choco Reds are there. A couple of my Hoyas, my dragon fruit, my silver glory that's still kind of like in a rehab phase. This one was a great alternative for me for the IKEA greenhouse because I just need it for my smaller plants. I don't really need like a big cabinet to be an indoor greenhouse. So this is perfect. The only thing is I would not pay $75 for it. I would pay $20 for it because it's not the best well-made terrarium, but I guess all terrariums are made like this. So if you can get it on clearance on Michael's, get it on clearance. Is well worth it. And also in my upcoming Vlogmas, I am trying to turn this into a gingerbread house. So watch out for that. And a couple of other products that I tried this year is the Better Grow Premium Grade Orchid Moss. Moss can be expensive, and also moss is a non-renewable resource. So it's really important that we get something that is sustainably sourced. And this one, at least according to their website, is sustainably sourced. It is hand harvested in Chilean wetlands. So you know they're not over harvesting or like using equipment that would harm the wetlands. And it's also endorsed by the American Orchid Society, and it's also quite affordable. It's like $5 if you can get it. It's not always available though, that's the thing, but when you can get it either at your big box stores or on Amazon, go with this one. And next thing is Velcro tapes. Like this actually came with the plant poles that I bought, but this one is my favorite when it comes to tying up my plants. As you can see right here with my Hoya Carrii, with my Syngonium, and all of my plants that need support. They're very easy to use. It doesn't damage the plants, and you could reuse them over and over again. So Velcro tape, invest in them. And they're also relatively cheap too if you just want to buy it by itself, and they last pretty long. Next is this plant trays from Allen Roth. They're about $5 each, which is going to be a little bit pricey, but they're just studier kind of plastic plant trays, and I like them for my plants, especially now in the winter when I'm not trying to like move plants in and out of the house or just like to the bathroom and back here. If I could just water them in place. It's kind of see-through. It doesn't really clash with any decor that you might have or any planters that you might have. So I really like it. I also have it downstairs, especially for my larger floor plants. Of stuff that I forgot to mention is this potting mat. I did DIY it, but the material I got it from IKEA, which is just like their contact liner, which are about $5. You can get a huge one, and you can customize the size of your potting mat. And I just got some snaps and I just attach it to it. It's really very easy. And what I like about it is I could use it either to repot my plants or use it as a liner for my plants, like almost a tray for it. And since, you know, I have a carpet in my room and I have a lot of plants that I need to put on the floor, this is perfect for it. And sometimes even when I need to water my plants directly on here, I can water it just to make sure that this one, you know, is like standing up. But yeah, so get a potting mat or DIY one. I think it is also very helpful, especially if most of your gardening is indoors for your houseplants and you don't really have space outdoors to do a lot of repotting. It's just going to save you with a lot of cleaning and stuff when you repot. The next plant product that I tried this year, which is probably my favorite, but I am biased, is my 2022 Plantiful planner. So this is a planner that I designed myself, a plant parent for plant parents. So this one has your regular monthly and weekly planner that is styled in the bullet journal template, but it also has houseplant care guides and houseplant trackers in each month. So this one I found really useful, especially the plant inventory and the houseplant trackers in each month, so I could keep track of my houseplants, like what houseplants I have in my collection in each month, and when I'm watering them. I also have notes on my houseplants on when I repotted them, or if I propagated something, or if I rehab something. Because in the past, it's always kind of like I always forget, even though I think that I would remember, I always forget when I actually started treating this plant, when did I propagate it, when did it started acting up or having issues, and I always lose track. So with this one, I'm able to keep track of it by having this 2022 Plantiful planner, and it is with my like regular planner stuff, so I always have access to it, and I always like check it and update it. So, which is awesome. In case if you haven't heard yet, I did come up with the 2023 version, which is the improved version of the 2022 planner. So in my experience of using the 2022 planner, I kind of know what worked and what didn't. So I made sure to incorporate all of that when I was designing the 2023 version. So this one still has the houseplant care guides and the houseplant tracker, just like a little bit more tweaked and a little bit more improved. And also the planner section with the monthly and weekly spreads, they're still in bullet journal style, but I also took out some of the templates that I myself didn't find a lot of use of, like the food journal. I just wasn't able to keep up with it, as well as with the mood trackers and habit trackers. But if those are things that you're interested to have in your planner, I have left dotted pages in each month where you could create those planners or trackers for yourself. Just based on my experience and the experience of others, those type of trackers, it's not really universal. Those has to be tweaked and personalized. So I just left space in each month for you to do it. I have left about like 2 or 3 dotted pages where you could do it, and I also have like about 45 line pages towards the end. You could like write all your notes all year round, and you can use up all of it. So this is available in my Amazon storefront as well, and it's linked down below if you're interested in the 2023 Plantiful planner. But aside from that, I did come up with just the planner version, the 2023 planner, which doesn't have the houseplant care guide and trackers. So if you're interested in that, I have it in the hardcover and the softcover version, and you can still get it. Highly suggest you get it now so you can get it in time for the New Year's. And in this video, I'm giving away one of the 2023 planner. Again, keep in mind this one doesn't have the houseplant care guide and trackers in it, just the regular planners that are in bullet journal style. If you want to enter the giveaway for the 2023 planner, rules are simple. You just have to be, 1, subscribe to my channel, 2, like this video, and 3, comment down below what plant product have you tried this year or any time at all that you highly recommend to other plant parents. I want to find out, so maybe I could also try it for myself next year. So those are all the plant products that I've tried this year, and make sure you try the ones that I think are worth it in 2023. And if you've tried some of this yourself too, let me know down in the comments your experience with them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, please do subscribe. I come up with videos every week, and if you haven't yet, check out these videos up here. Until my next one, but until then, I see you, I appreciate you. Take care of yourself and each other, and have a plentiful day. Bye.